All right. One of you got to get the door.
I mean, I do want to talk about your mindset because, like, you're in a zone right now with deals that you're presenting or doing. I don't know. It's like you're on a different level, I feel like. And maybe it's because I'm involved in some of this stuff, but
Well, it is. I don't know. I think like when you get back what you put out, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like this one. All right, we can talk about. I don't know. We'll just let it roll.
I got some other things on my mind, but we can. Yeah.
Are you guys ready? Oh, all that crap was on there? Well, here we go. Let's go. First Gen Wealth, we talk about an entrepreneur's journey to creating wealth. I've got a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues, a lot of peers that they're brought up with money and the ability to handle and figure that out. Finding dollars has always been easy. Finding a deal, making money, I can do that. What to do with it to make it continue to earn so we do have that generational wealth, that's the missing piece. We want our money that we've earned through blood, sweat, and tears to now go to work for us. So that money is making money while we're sleeping. All right, welcome back to First Gen Wealth. Randy Woodworth here with my brother Jim Woodworth. Hey, buddy.
What's up, bro?
It's invitational week.
Man, this is your time of year to shine.
This is where I shine, man. The things have been working out. So it's weird for me to say, we divulged I've been diagnosed with cancer, but I've been feeling very blessed. So it's like this weird dichotomy going on inside of me of emotions. But yeah, it's like things have been working out. So obviously I'm on chemo and doing that stuff. In my off weeks, I'm like feeling amazing because and really what that is I'm not feeling amazing. I'm just feeling normal.
Right. Yeah.
But normal feels amazing because the chemo kind of makes you sick and stuff. So it's like, I have this new,
appreciation.
I have a huge appreciation for what normal is, right? Normal's great, people. Like, you have no idea. So throughout this process, I have 2 weeks on, and then a week off. That's how my chemo goes. And the weeks off have been Vegas, where my trip out there for International Council of Shopping Centers just kind of lined up. And this week is invitational week at the golf club. You're playing with me for the first time
ever. I'm excited.
And it's my off week. It's just like lining up. Like all these things keep lining up wonderfully. So yeah, I have cancer, but I'm blessed.
Yeah.
It just works out, man. Everything works out. So I'm feeling good. And we're golfing today. We're doing a little driving range action. We're not going to do the practice round. I'm not going to overdo it.
I'm not going to overdo it too. My back is still bothering me. Like I'm nervous about.
And you're really bad at golf.
And I'm terrible at golf. I got an amazing handicap. If I play okay, then we got a shot.
Do we tell the world what your
So I think it's 39 point something. And
yes.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll figure it out as we do the math.
He's so bad he doesn't even know what his handicap means. But we're gonna get that's how many strokes we get. So if I play well and you show up on like
if I'm 35 over, that's a good thing, right?
Absolutely, that's 4 points.
So
it's gonna
so your normal partner Patrick
Yeah.
isn't doing it this year,
Nope.
and when you asked me to do it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You and Patrick have always matched,
Yes,
with extravagant outfits.
Yes,
and I thought that was going to be just that was your thing, and you and I would just go into it, and I'm going to just dress how I dress, and you dress how you dress.
Well, especially because I made the decision 1 week, like.
Yeah.
We had they had to rearrange stuff
you
to
pulled
get
the
us
cancer
in.
card.
I pulled the cancer card to get
this.
in. Yes.
But you called me, I think it was on Monday. He's like, hey, you still around? Like, I need you to come over. I'm like, what's going on? And you start bringing out these shirts that have been unopened, pants, shorts unopened, that you've had for years. Shoes like galore. I'm like, okay, we're matching. Okay. So we had to get a couple things ordered, and the green pants, this crocodile theme. And I get home.
So insert that photo here,
yeah,
guys.
because it'll be, we're doing it tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get home, and you send me a text and say, hey, do you by chance have a large Bowie knife? And I said, of course I do.
Yeah.
And I show you, perfect. You're going to need that. So I don't know what you have in store, but we'll obviously know by the time this airs. And
the picture will have presented. If you're listening on Apple iTunes, you didn't see it, but we got some pretty extravagant outfits we're gonna do, and even cart decorations that I'm pretty excited about. So good stuff, man. It's gonna be a great week, and already is a great week. And that's where the mindset's at. You know, we're just kind of like I was telling you when you asked before, how you doing, right? It's like at capacity. You just try to be at capacity in every moment. And I feel like what that has done is opened more doors for some more deals. Now, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to buy everything. I'm not trying to get involved in a whole bunch of new stuff. You know, Molly will shoot me, but there are opportunities that have been presenting themselves, and it's like you just kind of get back what you put out. And my attitude and my vibe is, I think, been pretty positive, and we're seeing some weird stuff. I just had a guy in here today. Matter of fact, when I walked in, what'd I tell you?
I think we're going to get in the trailer park business.
Yeah, the trailer park business. And when I say we're going to get in the trailer park business, I have no idea what that actually means, right? But there's an opportunity now that has presented itself that's pretty amazing. And I'm gonna probably at least get involved to the extent of helping these guys, right? That doesn't mean I'm gonna own anything or whatever, but I'm gonna find out how to take a fee, and help a young man and his group build something, I think, that's pretty amazing. And then, if we get a little percentage off of it, whatever, we'll see.
Well, I called you yesterday.
Like I told him the deal will kind of work to structure itself how it needs to. We'll see. We'll let it dictate that.
So a month ago-ish, I said, is there a deal that that would get you excited? And you said, no, not at all. I'm not in that mode right now. Since then, your mindset has shifted, I'd say pretty significantly. And so now, like, I want to know, like, obviously there's deals we won't do or you won't do, but like, so what is it taking in that potential deal or another potential deal that you emailed about yesterday that you're like, okay, this is something that I think I could potentially take on and I'd want to take on?
So for this deal, it's hands off, investment stuff. They have the expertise, they have a history, they have a company that's involved in this, whole realm. And they're lacking the funds, right? That doesn't mean I've got the funds, but I have this, I can connect those dots, right? And if connecting those dots ends up putting me, in some sort of minority small share percentage, terrific, because I'm not going to be involved in the day-to-day, and there's tremendous upside. Again, just saw this today. Right. So there's a lot of due diligence that needs to be done, but the number one rule, control the deal. So we're going to work to control that. That was what he pitched this pretty early in the meeting. We were scheduled to meet for an hour. About 5 minutes in, I just pulled it right out of him. Cause the other thing, I'm like, not interested in wasting time. Like, what do you got? You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to know. What do you got? So he pulled it out of him right away. And then we dove in. And then it's like, all right, this makes a lot of sense. Let's control the deal. So we're going to control that deal, get it under contract, and then, work through the due diligence.
So when you say control the deal, you're not saying like you personally control the deal, but like, so they're looking at potentially buying something.
Correct.
Okay. So you want to make sure
I want them to control
they're controlling it, meaning
yes,
you're getting it under contract. Now you can do your due diligence. And then during that due diligence time frame, if you decide that it doesn't work, then you can back out, but you have control because you're under contract.
Correct.
And that's a lot different in the commercial world where that due diligence piece is always available, where if I'm buying a house today, you don't have that option. Like you may have an inspection period, but a lot of time that's getting waived right now. Like you have a few days, typically 7 days at the most, to get your inspection done, get your appraisal done. And if something happens, you can back out. But commercial deals, what's the typical?
Oh, it's like, it's 60 to 90 days of due diligence with extensions. And I mean, if it's raw land, it's 180 days because they've got to go through and get all their, they've got to survey it. They've got a site plan. They got to get the site plan approved. They've got to go through the municipalities and all of that stuff, building permits, design, construction budgeting. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So you can have deals that are under contract for a year there's a significant amount of money that gets set aside where you're looking at it earnest money deposit when you're in a house for like 5,000, 1,000 sometimes.
Yeah,
I've seen them 500. Yeah. We're talking 50 to 500,000 of due diligence of earnest money deposit. So 50,000 to $500,000 that gets parked. So, you're getting a lot of time, but you're paying for that. Now that, again, it's treated the same way. It is refundable for the most part.
As long as you're meeting the terms of
long as you're meeting the terms of the deal. And then there's typically a point in that process where it goes hard, meaning it's non-refundable. But yeah, I mean, there's just too much, especially like on a situation where you've got like a manufactured housing park. There's like underground utilities. You got to know what all of that stuff is, because you could cost yourself millions of dollars going in blind. So just to line up all the vendors and the inspectors and all of those things is going to take a couple months.
Yeah. So when you're making an offer on a commercial and you're doing that as a buyer, like you're putting yourself at a huge risk too, because you're investing a ton of money.
Oh,
and you may decide, never mind.
Typically, yeah. I mean, with environmental concern, environmental inspections, you'll spend $10,000 to $20,000 just figuring out whether you can move forward or not.
And that's not every commercial deal, but if it's like speculative, or because if you're just buying the commercial building next door, it's different than.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get away with a couple grand or none if you've got friends and family, and it depends on the deal. But the one that we're talking about right now that kind of presents itself. But your question was, what do I like? Like right now, it's something with big upside that has cash flow, so you're not going to have to fund, right? And doesn't require my time, because that's
or
important.
Maybe in a lot of money up front, like
down
payment or.
Right. So I think every deal's exciting again right now, Jim. What do you mean?
I mean,
for somebody,
yeah.
I'm not trying to buy a bunch of stuff. We're still in sell mode, right? We're definitely in sell mode, and there's things going on behind the scenes and with the guys here that we're working very, very diligently towards that end. But for things that make sense, if it's a building attached to a building and it's cash flowing and it doesn't require any work and it can just plug and play, that makes sense. I'm thinking short term and long term. If it's something that my estate can make money on for forever, then it's not a horrible deal. If it's something that I don't know. I don't know.
So I'm going to put you on the spot because I didn't ask you about this, but yesterday when you emailed about a potential deal.
Yeah, don't say it out loud.
Not about the deal or about what
specifically
you said to Aaron.
Specifically.
I'm not going to talk about the deal.
All right.
I'm going to talk specifically about your health.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd emailed our attorney.
Yes.
And he said, hey, man,
he was being the contrarian.
So this is great. You're looking into this, but, and I'm hopeful that you're going to beat this, but you also need to
think about your estate.
You also need to think about your estate.
Yep.
And you responded with something. I don't know if it was, he said already beaten. I don't know if that was, you talking about. I
said victory. Yeah, it's already beaten. I've already beaten it. Victory's already claimed.
Okay.
It's just a matter of time.
Joe Namath calling the shot.
I am.
Babe Ruth.
We're calling the shot. It's just a matter of time. So, but then I said, because he's my attorney and he is looking out for me, and I appreciate that. It's like that counterpoint, right? And I play devil's advocate with people all the time. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, but what if? You know what I mean? So I said, hey, if at the end of the day, my estate can make profit on this, and they can sell it and make a profit. So it's that's a deal that makes sense, right? Like it makes sense for me if I live to be 100. It makes sense for my family if I live to be 50. You know what I mean? So I'm 46. Yeah, I don't know. And I might live to be 50 because some drunk driver hits the sidewalk and takes me out. It has nothing to do with cancer. You know what I mean? Like we're not promised tomorrow. Like this stuff can happen. So you can't plan. You can't go through your day and your life worrying about that. To me, I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? And Molly can if she says no and means it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to ask permission. She's going to ask me right now, hi, honey, you're sitting on the couch watching this like you usually do. Ask me about this deal. What is it? All right. If I haven't told you yet. And it's not done. No, we haven't bought it. Because that has happened.
Yes.
You know?
Not in a while, but.
No, I try not to make that happen. But anyway. So there's opportunities, I think, at the end of the day, all over the place. And, this guy, and this is a point I want to make to our audience that is, that tunes in because they want to be that first gen wealth person. And we've been going off on political tangents and all those things. And I really wanted to make sure we honed in on stuff today, getting back to the core values of the program. It's like, we want people to build wealth that's generational. And the first timers are who we're mostly talking to. Most of these points qualify for second generation, third generation wealth, doesn't matter. But for the first time person, which this gentleman that came in this morning, he had this deal. And if I was a New Yorker, you know what I mean, I'd steal it from him. I'm not going to do that. That's not me. I'm not. And I've had those opportunities, and people have always been scared to share like their idea because, well, I don't want to tell you. I'm not in the business of starting businesses. I'm in the business of helping people get what they want. And I'm not stealing this guy's deal, but I could have because he didn't have control of it. Golden rule. You got to control it. So that's what I told him. And that's what I'm telling you. Like, his big concern, this was my point.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the money. Well, you obviously know people because you're sitting in this. He was sitting right where, this is where everybody sits, right over there where you're sitting. Like, we'll figure that out. If it's a good deal, if it's a money maker, we can figure that money portion out as far as down payment and structure and lending and all of those things. And that is something that goes right along with the due diligence, with figuring out if it's a, viable asset or not, is also what type and funding and where is that money coming from? And he's not broke, you know what I mean? He has money, but he knew he didn't. He was thinking it was having to be all cash, and just some ignorance there on the deal. But number one, control the deal. And yes, you can trust my brother and I. We're not going to steal stuff from you, unless you just take forever to do it and don't give our advice. Don't listen to our advice. We're going to give you the time, but we'll give you. You want to give you enough rope to hang yourself.
That's a choice though. If they decide they don't want to control the deal,
yeah,
then you're not stealing it.
No.
They decided they didn't want it. So
I feel like I'm stealing it. So I would never do it. Like, but if somebody brings me something, that's their deal. You know what I'm saying? I'll help them do it. If we lay out a plan and it's 2 weeks later and I have done nothing, yeah. Okay. Look, this is a good deal. I told you it was a good deal. I might make that call. Either sign that thing or I'm gonna. Matter of fact, I have done that. I did that yesterday with somebody, actually. I said, either sign that thing or I'm gonna, because this is a no-brainer. So
who signed
that's
it?
not a sales tactic. That's
Yeah.
the truth. I'm
Right.
like, this is a no-brainer, and it's something who
So who ended up signing, you or them?
they did.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect because it was a no-brainer, and I probably would have done that deal, but I really, it wasn't like it wasn't in the cards. Like, timing's not right. Like, I didn't want it. It's just like it was one that you step into it making money. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's the type of deal right now that would make sense for you.
Yeah, and I'll say the name Adam because there's so many Adams, but this Adam knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
Glad you did it, buddy. Yeah, literally 8 Adams came to mind right now.
I was just thinking like 3. I'm like, oh, it probably wasn't that one, but maybe this one.
That's funny. So yeah. So what are you looking at besides everything I'm throwing at you?
I'm not really looking at anything.
Okay.
Just because, that doesn't mean I wouldn't entertain an idea, because I've got a lot going on in my life with my business, and we have a lot going on with some projects that are taking a lot of capital. So I can't see myself having the wherewithal to invest in another project of any kind right now until we get some of these off the ground, until this building is complete and refinanced until Fifth Third is, legitimately started. I mean, people are there now, but it's not, we're not swinging hammers yet. So,
because we still have not received our federal historic approval.
So what kind of deal would I be interested in right now? One that requires zero money up front, and it's going to not require me to put any money in right now or next month or the next 6 months. So if somehow, those deals are very, very hard to come by. But if we ran into a scenario where we had no money out of pocket and we had a situation where we had some cash flow and not going to require any money, then absolutely I would love to do that deal.
Yeah. So if you're out there right now and there's an asset, whether it's, I don't care if it's a $40,000 duplex, buy that. I don't know where those exist right now, but $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 duplex. If there's something you're looking at that you want to take that next step, but are wondering about the money, let's meet. Let's get that going. Like there are scenarios where there's private investors right now that will potentially, depending on the asset, lend up to 100%. You're not going to get that from.
I'll give you an example. So I've got a real life story right now. So we have somebody called us. They wanted to buy a 5-unit property that's an investment property. Well, when you're getting a residential mortgage, it's already disqualified because it's only 1 to 4 units if you're taking out a personal mortgage. So they don't have that option. They don't have any cash. But this property would cash flow very well. So what we are doing is we're taking a loan out on a property where they have a lot of equity. We're using that money as a down payment on the 5-unit property. And then we've got private investors that are financing the 5-unit, and they're paying like 10%. So, but that 10%, even at that 10%, yep, who the tenants are going to pay back, not you, right, it still cash flows, and it cash flows pretty well. So to them, it's a no-brainer. They're literally buying a 5-unit property with nothing out of pocket. It's 100% financed, not all on the 5-unit, but we're spreading it out over a couple different properties, and they're getting a cash flow asset that requires nothing out of pocket. So there are scenarios where, especially if you have equity in a home or multiple homes, there's scenarios where you can access that to fund your next deal with nothing out of pocket and a cash flow. So there, you're like you said, this guy came to you and said, "Well, I don't really have the money," but it was just because they didn't think they had the money. They have access to money in different ways, and so that's something that is always out there. If you have a team that's creative for you, and you can kind of think outside the box too.
And that's exactly what I told this gentleman was, if for the right deal, and that whatever definition that means, right? Profitable, number one.
Yep.
For the right deal, the money's the easy part. For the right deal,
100%.
the money's the easy part. So that's it, man. I want to keep it short and sweet. 2 things: positive attitude attracts positive stuff. So let's keep it going, people. And then secondly, control the deal. Just a reminder. Anything else you want to add?
No, man. Let's kill it this weekend.
Oh, dude, we're golfing. We're golfing. All right, man. That's a wrap. See you next time. Not sure what the topic will be, but it'll be awesome.